I have played a lot of Paper Mario Sticker Star in the past few months, and I've come to appreciate it more than most. Now, that's not to say I think it's an objectively good game. No, far from it. There are many flaws that I have with it, but it is still enjoyable to play in all of my playthroughs that I've done. But through these playthroughs, I have found a lot of things that are just so interesting and niche about the game. I know that quite literally like 90% of people probably haven't seen everything that the game has to offer. That's why I pulled together a collection of every niche and obscure mechanic and feature that I have found throughout my playthroughs. As a starter, I wanted to show off some of my favorite quirks I found that pertain specifically to the game's worlds. Like, have you ever really dug through the garbage in the trash dump? Because there are 40 different scraps of trash you can find here, all with fun little Easter eggs on them. And if you didn't know, you can also use the goat thing to clear away the trash, just like you can use the vacuums. But those are easy enough to find on a wiki if you want. I mean, there's also even goat tracks on the ground to show that you're supposed to use the goat here. But wait a second, where's the spear guy with the puzzle piece? He's supposed to be right here. Does that mean I ruined this save file? No, not at all, because I already have the puzzle piece. But how is that possible? Well, there are a few other things that can happen when you're digging through the trash. For starters, you can find yourself a random spear guy, which you have to immediately fight. But you can also find a piranha plant here, and you can find the only Sniffet in all of Chapter 5 as well. On top of these random enemies that you can encounter, you can also just pull out the spear guy with the puzzle piece. Why can you do this? It genuinely took me over an hour to get this guy to appear the first time I did this. So I was just here, sitting at my desk, moving up and down through this room, and occasionally clicking the A button for over an hour. But yeah, the fact that you can just find the spear guy by digging around is insane. Why do they just have this as an option? If they expect you to use the vacuum or the goat, then just make us use the vacuum or the goat. Why can't I do this other random thing? It makes me wonder if there's anything else like this where you can skip something without using a thing sticker. How many more obscure things like that are in the game? Oh wait, that's what this video is about. Continuing on the topic of weird things and levels, let's talk a little bit about 1-5. Waymano Mountain is seemingly pretty simple. It has a fun Rube Goldberg machine in it, and that's kind of it. Except this level has something else that's pretty interesting as well. This level has the only instance of a Lakitu in the entire game. However, you sadly can't enter battle with this Lakitu. Even if you're able to run into him, there's no hitbox for you to actually enter a battle. He is just forever stuck, throwing spinies at Mario over and over and over, and he can never truly leave. I wish there was some way we could free him from this endless torment. Oh wait, there is! In the same screen, there's a superstar, and as we all know, the superstar causes instant death to anything that the user touches while it is active. So, we are able to walk up the hill, juke out the Lakitu, and hit him on the way up, causing him to instantly die. And you don't get to see this animation otherwise, which is pretty cool. The last thing I have to say about levels themselves is that there are a bunch that are just able to be left unfinished or completely skipped. An easy example of this is 4-4, as it's simply a shop that you don't need to finish the game. But you can actually leave 8 other levels unfinished, such as the level right before it, 4-3. That's right, you do not have to finish this level. The only requirement from this level is that you defeat the Big Boo and get the painting scrap for the ski lift. So, once you get both of these, you can just leave and go back to 4-5 to continue the story without ever getting the comet piece. Similarly, 2-4 can also be left incomplete, as you just need its scrap as well. Some aren't quite as fun though, and can only be left as half incomplete, as they have multiple exits. Many levels from World 3 are like this, as 3-5 and 3-11 don't require both exits to be used, while 3-8's ending can be skipped entirely. Finally, you can just not get the second ending of 5-3, and only take the correct exit first. Oh yeah, and you can skip either 1-4 or 1-5, depending on which one you want to do. Next, I wanted to talk about some of the more obscure stickers in the game. I want to talk a little bit about enemy stickers. There are 9 stickers in the game that can be dropped by various enemies. You've got the Boomerang, Sombrero, Bone, Spike Ball, Throwing Star, Bomb, Wrench, Snowball, and the Barrel. The Boomerang is the only one that is guaranteed to be found during a playthrough, as you are required to fight the 2 Boomerang Bros. But what about the Barrel? I don't know a single enemy that uses a barrel. Well, the barrel is actually attached to the bruiser enemy. Now, all of these stickers are... Wait a second. Bruisers? The Bruiser is an enemy that has appeared in a bunch of Mario games, but they were seemingly left entirely out of the Paper Mario series, except that they are actually, specifically, in Sticker Star. In Bowser Jr.'s Flotilla, you can find a Boomerang Bro alongside a Fire Bro in the second to last room. The Fire Bro battle is really cool as it has all 4 Koopa Bro variants inside of it. On the other hand, the Boomerang Bro fights alongside 2 Bruisers. When did these guys get here? It makes me so sad that they're only locked behind this fight because these guys are genuinely the coolest enemy in the game. They have 2 states, normal and enraged. In their normal state, they walk up and punch you to attack. Once you deal damage to them, however, they will become enraged and will punch barrels towards you instead. On top of this, while they are enraged, they genuinely have the coolest mechanic in the entire game. These guys counter all contact damage. You will deal no damage to them, and they will deal 5 damage back. This forces you to deal with them with some form of ranged attack afterwards if you can't deal enough damage to one-shot them. Why was there not more of this guy? Oh yeah, and back to the other enemy stickers, I just wanted to show what a few of these do since you've probably never seen all of them. And if you thought I was done with talking about battles, oh, you are mistaken. I got so much. For one, we all know the 82 stack of boos that you fight in the Enig Mansion, right? And of course, we know that you're supposed to use the Infinijump against it, as it only takes 1 damage from all attacks. But what if I told you that there was something you could do more than 1 damage with? You might not have known because it seems stupid to do so. But if you use a Poison Mushroom sticker, you poison yourself. Wow, no way. But this actually allows you to spread the poison to enemies that come in contact with you. The poison status does 10% of the target's max health as damage per turn, rounded up. This includes against the 82 stack of boos. So, on their first turn, they take 8 damage, then 7, then 6, and so on. This number reduces every turn or so due to the max HP of the boos dropping as they take damage and lose boos. But yeah, this is a genuine strategy you can use to defeat the boo without using an Infinijump if you want to. Poison is also a solid answer against the big Scuttlebug for some reason. Instead of taking 1% of its max HP, it takes 10 damage per turn. So, if you poison yourself and then jump into the web, the big Scuttlebug will climb down and bite into Mario, which causes him to get poisoned. And I guess since he actually ingested the poison, it probably does more to him. That would make sense. And speaking of poison, you know how Gooper Blooper shoots a big poison attack at you after charging up for a few turns? And the whole big gimmick of the fight is that you're supposed to deal with it by using a sponge type thing sticker to absorb it and shoot it back at him? That's the intended solution. Because if you don't block it, you get hit and your screen gets covered in poison, you're taking a ton of poison damage, and you also miss every attack. But did you know that there is seemingly another intended solution to this fight? Let's think about it for a second. What would you use to clean up something that is dirty? A sponge, yes, but also water. Apparently, if you use any of the water-based thing stickers here, it cleans off the screen of the poison and also cleans off Mario. This is the only instance of something like this in the game that I have found, as water things don't normally cure poison, so I don't know what's going on here. Now sadly, the phrase water-based things doesn't include the rubber ducky and the water gun. So it has to be the watering can, the faucet, or the teapot. And even though this is an incredibly niche application of the sticker, and seemingly is intended by the developers, Kersti still hates on you for using too many stickers, even though you seemingly used a correct one. What? Again, on the topic of poison, I know there's a lot of stuff about poison in this. It's not stopping soon, I swear. You know how World 3 has poison all over the place? Well, if you enter a battle while standing in poison, the floor is poisonous. Now, this damage basically affects only Mario, because you are always fighting Sniffets and Poison Bloopers when there is poison around, and they are immune to poison, so it doesn't do anything. But if you take Wiggler across to the meat of 3-12, there are a bunch of cheap cheeps jumping in and out of the poison. But If you stand in poison and then jump to enter a battle with a Cheep without touching back on solid ground, you enter the fight with a poison floor, and you can witness the only battle in the entire game that can be won by doing absolutely nothing. Speaking of doing absolutely nothing, you might not have known that you can lose by doing absolutely nothing. Now, obviously, if you're low enough in a poison battle, you can die eventually in the poison. Like, that makes sense. But there's actually one other field hazard. That's right, quicksand. Now, you probably know if you drown in quicksand, that's probably not good, like you'll die. But in the desert, if you start battle while in quicksand, you will still have it under your feet. And if you don't take an action for over a minute, Mario will be slowly sucked under and you get an immediate game over. Now, you can immediately shoot back up to the top whenever you start one of your attacks, but it's silly that you can just insta-die here. Now, even though most enemies are unaffected by the quicksand, the sombrero guys are actually able to be pulled under as well. Well, that's what I would say if it wasn't guaranteed that Mario always dies before them. No matter how long you wait, the sombrero guy never dies. Oh yeah, I forgot I was talking about poison stuff. Why'd I start talking about quicksand? Yeah, so another thing about poison. Did you know that when you're poisoned, you can't equip defensive stickers? That's right. No spike helmets, no tails, no boots, and no frog suits. Yeah, they just fall right off. Oh yeah, the frog suit. Y'all ever use this thing? Well, you should be using the frog suit, because the frog suit gives you a damage bonus to all your attacks. Like, people generally know this about the boot sticker, as it makes sense that it would boost your jump damage or something else besides just being the exact same as the frog suit. But have you ever noticed by how much these things increase? The boot sticker does a solid amount for specifically your jump attacks, but the frog suit is even stupider, as it increases all damage by a slightly lower amount. The boot with somewhere around 40 damage, and the frog suit with 36. Now, both of these are pretty high up there, but it's genuinely so much funnier with the frog suit due to it also increasing hammer damage. This is a flat amount of damage increase. This means that in combination with the boombox to double your damage and the frog suit, you can do almost 300 damage in a single turn against Final Bowser with a failed hammer attack, as you get 5 sticker slots. You heard that right, 300 damage from 4 attacks that are supposed to do 1 damage each. Speaking of Final Bowser, did you know he has a walking animation? Yeah, if you use the tail against him, he gets knocked away and has to walk back to where he's supposed to stand. It's really broken looking, and he glitches up into the air for like a split second on his way back. While we're here, I want to talk about how you're intended to beat Bowser. Each phase of Bowser has a sticker that specifically relates to it. Phase 1 allows you to use the tape, thumbtack, or stapler to close the doors in the back. Phase 2 requires you to use an eek hammer to knock over the womp, and then you're supposed to use a scissors thing sticker to kill him from there. The next phase has potaboos that can be frozen with ice thing stickers, and then they can be sent into the sky with one of the fan base stickers to clear the phase by having them all just fall onto Bowser. Now in the final phase, you are supposed to use the tail sticker to knock the chain chomp back at Bowser to knock him off the cliff. Now, you can simply deal a lot of damage to Bowser and get the same effect, he'll just teleport to the side and fall off anyway, but you can also knock him off in a completely different way. For some reason, if you use the slap hammer on the chain chomp, it gets knocked back into Bowser and he gets pushed the tiniest amount backwards. If you do this enough, slowly but surely you can push Bowser off the edge. But this is such a stupid way to kill him that no one in their right mind should find, as it takes so much longer to do than to just either kill Bowser or use the tail. But something that y'all almost certainly haven't seen is the secret attack that Sniffets can do. You know, normally these guys just shoot you over and over with their little pellets. I love these guys. But if you get a 3-sticker bingo, where you have your 3 new sticker slots available, there is a chance that on the Sniffet's turn, they will do a fancy pose and kick one of the sticker slots away, putting you back down to just 1 on your next turn. How many people found this on their own? That's a crazy mechanic. Now I want to talk about another boss that you have to use a specific sticker against, and it's actually the Big Boo. Now the whole thing with this battle is that there are candles in the background that turn on like 1 or 2 turns into the fight, making him invisible and he is unable to be damaged. Now after this, you have various ways to blow out the candles, namely with any of the various windy things, such as, the vacuums and the fans. Now, you might think to yourself, oh, I could just damage him with some of my other thing stickers before I have to blow out the candles and maybe kill him. Let me use something like my lighter, because that thing's really strong. Well, you shouldn't have did that, because if you use any fire thing stickers, it lights the candles before you finish the attack, causing the boo to immediately go invisible and you deal no damage. What? Now, another silly thing I want to talk about is specifically when you kill enemies. So you know how when you kill an enemy with multi-hits and you get extra hits after they die, you get a coin for each hit past the killing blow. Well, this is actually not something that just helps Mario. This is theoretically just a feature of the world of Sticker Star. This is because when an enemy overkills you with a multi-hit, they also get coins for each hit after the first. Now this is obviously something that the developers probably just did for enemies, and then it turned out it also happened for Mario, and they were just like, oh, that's fun, and kept it in. Because I don't really think that the enemies are spending their money anywhere. Now, finally, I wanted to talk about a few more miscellaneous bits of trivia. Like, did you know you walk faster in the museum? Yeah, that one kind of sucked. But speaking of things in Decalburg, did you know you can sell the only one-of-a-kind sticker in the game? Now, in the final battle, Kersti turns herself into a sticker. But even if you defeat Bowser without using her, your inventory resets to what it was pre-Bowser battle. But if you use cheats to put Kersti into your inventory, you can bring her to the Decalburg sticker shop and sell her. Now this is funny because the first time you enter here in the playthrough, Kersti mentions that she wonders how much she would be worth as a sticker once you sell a sticker. And well, it's pretty funny that you can sell her as a sticker and then she immediately asks, I wonder how much I would be worth. Turns out she's worth 15, which is nothing to scoff at. That's like slightly less than what a thing sticker is worth, so good on you, Kersti. Oh yeah, and a few other things about Kersti. If you use Kersti in battle outside of the final Bowser fight, she will do her speech, except the text doesn't show up. You just get a bunch of little text boxes on the screen and, the little star on the side that shows that there is text happening. And it goes through each text box normally, there's just no text in them. And then it fades to white and stays there. Your top screen is just stuck like this, and you don't get to continue through the fight. Well, that's what the wiki says, but you actually can continue through the fight. If you wait here for about a minute, the enemies will eventually attack you, and you are able to blindly do your turns. So, as long as you're good at doing blind hits in battles, you can win the fight and exit the battle. Except it's still white on the screen. You're still stuck like this. But if you're close enough to an exit where you can leave the entire level, you can fix it. This doesn't fix when going through regular loading zones. It has to be to leave the level. And one final interesting thing about Kersti's sticker, if you paperize it, she becomes a shoe. Every time. Like, I'm guessing it just defaults to shoe when it doesn't know what sticker got put in there. Now, before we wrap up, I wanted to talk about a few misconceptions that people have about some parts of this game. Now, earlier I mentioned how you use the E-camera to knock him over, but that's not the requirement. Like, at all. I mean, sure, you can use the E-camera to knock him over, but that's not what you need. The only requirement is that you hit him with 2 hammer hits. That's it. Now, it makes sense why everyone uses the E-camera because it hits, more than 2 times. And that makes it really easy to deal with this phase, but all the Mario wikis only mention the use of the E-camera. You can even just hit him twice with the E-camera and you'll knock him over. And what's annoying? You don't even have to hit the action command, which means that in my action commandless playthrough, I could have hit him with 2 sticks and then cut him up with scissors. But instead, I spent like 15 turns hitting him with clone jumps for 1 damage each. And while it doesn't technically matter, the damage that you do with the first strike is actually not technically related to the amount of HP up hearts you have obtained. It is actually connected to your health itself. I know, big difference, but there is something interesting about that. While the damage isn't related to the hearts themselves, the ability to first attack kill enemies is. Now, a silly side effect of this is that you can defeat the Chain Chomp in 5-6 with a 99 damage first strike. This guy is never supposed to get below like 89 health because you never really do more than 10 damage with first strikes. But if you kill him with the first strike, he flies off the screen because, you know, he's dead, but the game doesn't know what to do and permanently softlocks Mario in the spot. That's all I have for this video. I do have more things that I know about this game, so I will make a part 2, but it won't be coming out immediately after this video. I was on a little bit of a time crunch making this and had to cut a lot out, so expect that sometime in the next few months. Because there were at least like 20 to 30 more things that I wanted to talk about in this video, and I realized that it was a little out of my scope. But anyway, thanks for watching, and thank you again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Remember to use the code C750 in the description if you want to get your own C7 Max chair.